Welcome guys, Gio here, hope you're doing great. And in this video I want to show you the Brute Destroyer build for Wartales. And this is an interesting build because it is tank and the damage dealer at the same time. And I think the Brutes and the Swordsmen make really good candidates for such a build. So we have a couple of goals with the build. First is to, of course, deal the damage, and then also to tank the damage, and then third it is to stay Valor neutral if not Valor positive, so we are then efficient in all three areas, and then our damage dealers can use the Valor points. Apart from that, I think the tank damage dealers are really unique builds in a way that they are the most efficient, especially with the Brutes and the Swordsmen, because you stay Valor neutral the way the build plays out, and also you're dealing damage and also you're tanking the damage. And usually with the regular DPS builds, you are consuming a lot of Valor points and not necessarily gaining them back. So in that regard, I think that is unique. Apart from that, as always, we are going to focus on the basic craftable gear so we can see how the build plays out, and then of course you can enhance it with any gear you have. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So our game plan really is to check the gameplay for the Brute and see how we need to take action on the battlefield, and then I will show you the exact details of the build, some food buffs, and yeah, then we'll wrap things up. So let's jump right into action. So here we are up against bandits. As always, we are out leveled. They are level 16, and we will just charge in with our Brute right there. So there are a couple of ways to play the build. So you can either go for the heavy targets, you can go for multiple squishy targets, and we will see how it plays out. But one thing with the aggressive damage dealing tanks is that you want to be on the offensive and not wait for the enemy to attack you. So you want to go into their ranks, take the advantage of damage dealing power, and also take the advantage of the high armor and guard. So that way you will create chaos into their ranks, and then of course your other team is going to catch up and clean things up. So first I want to show you how it will fare against the wrongdoer, which is the heavy armor bandit, and there is like 55% guard, really heavy armor, and I will first show you how to deal with the wrongdoer. So we can move in, and there are like number of steps that we can do. So the idea here is to really leverage the passive skills and repost of the Brute to execute attacks of opportunity, and that's why we will be able to deal a lots of attacks. And with this specific build, for a given single target, we are guaranteed to do at least 2 attacks of opportunity. If we are lucky, we will do more, but yeah, we will see. So first I want to attack with start with the taunt. I'm going to engage with the enemy, and because our passive Valorous Duel, we will stay Valor neutral. So now this guy has weakening, 50% damage reduction, and now we are going to disengage. So that's really the flow: engage, disengage, engage, disengage. So now I'm going to disengage, and yeah, we are lucky in a sense that we executed attack of opportunity because of our passive, which is this defensive repost, and we have unfortunately gained the poison because whenever you attack the wrongdoer you get the poison, but that's okay, our teammates can heal us. So the next I want to follow up with this. We have this skill from Helmet Stamp, Headbutt, which is dealing some damage and applies destabilization, which will reduce the guard for the wrongdoer. But we don't care about the guard, because the way this build works is that we are ignoring enemy guard altogether. So the idea really is to have another chance to engage with the enemy. So we can use the headbutt, engage, and also check out this. So we gained in position. This is coming from the oils. And now our guard is doubled and it is 80%. So it's similar to the regular tanks, which have 80 guard by default. So we achieve this with the imposition oil, even though our base guard usually is 58. It's still good, but now we have 80, so it adds to our tankiness. And then really I want to disengage. We are lucky again, executed another attack of opportunity. Now we can go for the weakening blow. And now we have applied also vulnerability. This is coming because of our weakening blow skill. So because enemy was already weakened, now he is vulnerable. And next we really want to disengage again. Okay, we got hit, but now, I mean, it's bugged out here. We don't see it, but now we have the repost. So next, look at this. So we are going to crush him, engage, and now you can see the thing. So we have deflection and we have the repost. So it means that whenever we disengage now, we will execute attacks of opportunity, and boom, the heavy target is gone. Now we have some poison here, but that's okay. So if you also take a look at this, we lost just some meager amount of health, or the armor rather, and we have killed their heavy target. And now we can stay there and bait them into attacking us. So we have created some chaos there. And that way we are dealing the damage, killing the enemies, and also we are tanking the damage, which this build is doing absolutely fine. I also want to show you guys another sequence of actions. So if in the first one we went for the wrongdoer and killed him, so we are able to take down the heavy enemy targets in a single turn. Another alternative really is to go for the squishier targets and go for multiple of them, because hopefully we will kill many of them. In this case we have the leader, and we can get rid of him by attacking him directly with our brute. So as we did before, we can go up against the leader, and also getting rid of the leader in the first turn, the first thing, if you are able to, is good, because they are giving the buffs to their troops. So if we get rid of the leader, then we deny this buff to their entire troop. So as previously, we can engage, apply the weakening, then we disengage. Yes, we are lucky. Then we engage again, really, and we are now going to, okay, we have got the imposition, which is nice. Now we are going to disengage, and now so we have a couple of options. So we can use the wrath, because then we can use those skills directly to the other enemies. So we go for the wrath, boom. Okay, their leader is gone. Now we can pick the next squishy target, and let's pick the which one? Poacher, hoodlum. Anyway, it doesn't matter really, so I would go for the hoodlum, because they usually deal more damage. So look at that. Look at this. Okay, we are just crushing their armor. And we are not even doing crits. So only thing we have going for us is the rage stacks we accumulate. This is coming from food, and I'll show you how to get this. It's essentially the same as in any other build that I do. So we go now there, and that is ridiculous. Boom. So now we can stay there, and hopefully they will attack us. We will tank the damage, and the next turn, if it comes to that, we can just crush them. So yeah, there are these two different options where you can go about in the battle. It's a really nice build. I love tanks with two-handed weapons and damage dealing capabilities. I mean, the brutes are really good at that. At swordsman as well. I will do a swordsman build at some point. But yeah, that's really the gameplay. You really are going to do either to go with the heavy targets or go with the squishier ones, depending on your situation. And yeah, that's it for the gameplay. So keep in mind that we are doing this with a crafted gear and with a tank, okay, not a DPS. Yeah, DPS could kill 3 targets really easy, but this guy is a tank. He can also take a lots of damage. So that's really it. Now let's jump right into the actual details of the build. As always, let's start with the attributes. As usual, we want to willpower 15. Uh, right now I have the buff Fortitude, which is coming from the permanent buff that you unlock from there. And at this point, when I hired the guy, I already had that, so I only spent 2 points, but it is 15, which is nice. Next, we have movement base value up to 20 because we want to be mobile. If we are dealing damage, we are tanky, but we cannot get to the enemies, then we are severely limited and all these capabilities are lost. So we really need that movement. And then rest really should go into the strength because we are damage dealing tank. So every other point should go into the strength, and we are rocking a pretty solid strength for a tank. Considering that when you pick the profession or the specialization, it is either increasing the strength or it is increasing the constitution. So with the tanks, it is always constitution, and it's really a solid number. And you have seen the amount of damage that this guy can do. As for the traits, if you are starting from scratch or you are hiring through vacancy notices that you have in tavern, then I would go for the strong to just give a little bit of buff for this guy in the strength. Also, if you just hire and stumble upon the guy with the strong, that's a good trait. The rest will be generated as you play the game. So it's not been long since I hired this guy, so I don't have lots of traits, but there are a couple of good ones like Giant and well Tormentor. We don't care because we're not gonna deal crit damage. That's not the focus of the build. As for the gear, we have Acadian Steel gear, helmet, and the heavy armor, and the Morning Star. And apart from the stats and things, this looks super cool. This guy is menacing. Imagine being some squishy bandit and you see on the battlefield guy that looks like this huge Morning Star ready to crush your skull. So I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy when my characters looks nice, and I just really like this armor in this combination. It looks fantastic. So enough enough, me getting distracted with the beauty visual beauty of it. So apart from this, we have the helmet stamp, which is headbutt, and we are simply using that to really have an extra chance to engage with the enemies. And if you think about it, the way the repost builds work is that you want to be able to engage with the enemies as much as possible, so then you can execute as many attacks of opportunity as possible, because that's where the most damage is coming from. So we are getting this headbutt to deal some damage and engage once more with the enemy. As for the armor layers, we have Colossal Reinforced Layer of the Ox. We are gaining armor, and we are also gaining the guard. And the base guard with this gear is 58. Now, it's not 80, but it is still a really high number. And considering that we have the heavy armor, lots of armor there, and high guard, this guy is still tanky. And even if that is not enough, we have applied the hardening oil. And even though there is a 50% of the chance to gain in position, which in turn will double our guard, and so it will become 80. Because we are doing lots of engagements and disengagements, there is a really good chance to um, gain this buff in position. And as you have seen in both of the cases, when we dealt with the wrongdoer or just the leader and the squishies, this oil kicked in and our guard doubled almost after first or second attack. So we will be reaching that really well. Uh, and if that will not kick in, it's still really good, and we are going to tank a lot of damage. Apart from that, we have alertness oil, because we want to increase the attacks of opportunity, because that's where our main damage comes from these disengagements and the reposts and stuff. So we are adding this. Now you might ask, hey yo, why do we not have perforating oil? We don't have this because with this guy we don't care about the enemy's guard, and you will see that in the passive skills that we have for this build. For the trinket, we have the tin lucky charm, and this is amazing for the repost builds because it says damage taken of attacks of opportunity reduced by 50%. And if you really think about this, most of the damage we are going to get are from the attacks of opportunity when we disengage, and when enemies are lucky and execute attack of opportunity. So they're doing a lot of damage, but because of this thing, we are reducing their damage, and and plus on top we have a guard, and it becomes really small. You have seen in the gameplay that we just lost some meager amount of armor in both of the engagements, so that's really nice. I will show you the alternatives later if you don't have this, but you know, once you are in the mid game, you have explored the world a little bit, you will get this really easy. It's really nice. As for the profession, we want to go for the blacksmith because again it is increasing the strength by 10, which is absolutely fantastic, and we are rocking 113 strength here, which is really nice. Now let's move on to the actual skills. Again, we are going for the destroyer. Initially I was considering, when I wanted to do the damage dealer two-handed brute tank, to consider the other skills, but they are just not as good as the weakening blows, so we are sticking with that. Then at level 3 we are going for the valorous jewel. Do you remember when I said that we want to stay Valor neutral, because we then our damage dealers can spend the Valor, and that's where the trick is, because we are engaging and disengaging, we are gaining Valor points back. So this fits nicely in our overall goals that we have for this build, and that is also to conserve the Valor points. Next, at level 5, we go for the armor breaker. So damage inflicted to armor is increased by 35%, and when we destroy the armor we gain brutality, which is awesome. That was why we were able to dish out so much damage in the second variation of the battle that I have shown you. So apart from this increase, if you check the crafted mace, which is really nice, it says that damage is increased by 50% against units that still have armor. So we are gonna be just melting this armor with these combinations, and I really think this mace is super cool. It has really nice stats. Even though there are some legendary variations of that, I still like this and usually stick with that. So then at level 8 we are going for the guard breaker, and this is really nice because you are completely ignoring enemy's guard. So these bosses, the the heavy targets that have high guard, it doesn't matter for us, and these two really combine really well. That's the idea of crushing the armor. Alternatively, at level 8, if you want to go for more tankiness first, you can go for the temperance, which will give us the deflection once we are attacked, and also we will gain repost. So go with the armor breaker, then temperance at level 8, or if you're feeling risky, go for the guard breaker. Then at level 10, this is absolutely amazing passive. We have a 50% chance that when we disengage, we are executing attack of opportunity instead of the enemy. So that is the reason why we were able to engage and disengage so often and deal a lots of damage. And then at level 12, you will either go for the guard break or the temperance, depending on the order, whatever you have picked first. And well, at level 15, you do nothing. You just use the attribute points. So this is how our passive skills look. As you see, we all have the passive skills in this case, and this guy is really going to crush the armor and melt the enemies away. Now, if you check this, there are a couple of things there that you need. The alertness oil, the hardening oil, this item, the helmet stamp, and so on. So if you think about this, you can start with the build that I have shown you previously, which is the Brute Destroyer, but the tankier version. And in a later stages, once you have all these items, then you can just re-specialize and pick these skills. So you will convert the tanky destroyer with a shield with the two-handed variation. So the base of these two builds are really the same, and that's why it is really nice and accessible. So that's also another route. Or if you just want to, you can just go straight for this build, but getting these items takes some time, and it is a bit difficult than just going with the plain defensive destroyer brute build, which is tank. And even though it is defensive, it's still doing lots of damage, not as much as this guy though. So that's it really with the build. Now let's take a look at the only food buff that I use in my build guides, and this is lake fish food, which is giving us 1 rage every time we attack. This is essentially free. Once you have a tavern, you can go there, and in the menu you can assign this food to one of your cooks there, and they will prepare it. Once they prepare it for the tavern, they will also prepare it for you, so you essentially get it for free. And that's why I think this food is really awesome, and that's why I include this in every build that I do, because it is free and you don't have to grind the ingredients and chase specific animals and so on to get the buffs. So you consistently will have this buff for your entire team. And of course Brute also takes advantage of that, because we are engaging and disengaging a lot, we are doing lots of attacks, so we quickly stack those rage. Alright, now I want to talk about the build variations. There's, unfortunately not a lot of options there, because we need those specific things to make this entire thing work. So if you think about this, the builds are really pieces of the puzzle that you kind of stick together and then they just work. So if, let's say, you don't have the headbutt helmet stamp, it is again suboptimal, but you can go for something that will increase your damage, stimulated coating, or will increase the attacks of opportunity. I think one of the helmets from the guard is increasing that. If you don't have, let's say, hardening oil, well, you cannot double your guard, that's okay, but then I don't really have other good options there. Maybe I don't remember exactly, there was some oil there that will increase your defensive oil. That's the the low tier one, but there was the other one. I don't remember exactly, maybe I don't even have that, because I don't use the defensive oil. So you can go for that to increase your defensive capabilities. As for the alertness oil, then again, if you don't have this, just put something that will increase your damage. While perforating oil this is not relevant for us. So maybe you can even go for the Brave Soil and Brave Soul Concentrate to generate Valor. If you don't have the Teen Lucky Charm, then again use this slot for the oil of your preference. If you don't have any of this, let's say the Brave Oil and Brave Oil Concentrate, so you will stay the Valor positive, you will generate the Valor, and then, you know, if you, for example, if you have the Hardening Oil and don't have the Teen Lucky Charm, go for the Hardening Oil Concentrate, so the first time you taunt, you will be guaranteed to you know, double the guard immediately. So as for the weapon, I think this is perfectly fine. I like it, and as you have seen, it just works fine when even with the out-leveled enemies. There are some legendary hammers there, like Dagon's hammer and some other stuff, but the Dagon's hammer is really multi-target DPS, and it is going well for the Vanguard damage dealer build rather than the tank, because the idea of our tank is to really you know, engage and disengage a lot, and you are doing this with a single target. But if you have this equipment, some legendary gear, be my guest, experiment with that, but build is really solid as it is, and it works absolutely fine. So I think I have covered everything I wanted to cover about this build. I really enjoy when I do have tanks in my troop, especially ones with damage dealing capabilities, two-handed versions. Not only they are effective, but they look super cool, and I also enjoy that. So if you're into that kind of stuff, this build is really for you. Apart from that, you know, it's really simple. You just have to acquire these items, and as you slowly progress, you know, in your gameplay, it will be easier to get. And as I've said before, if you don't have these items yet, or you're in the early stages, I would go with the defensive version of the destroyer, which I have also covered. You can check that guide. And then once you are in the later stages of the game, once you can craft this high-end gear, then you can switch to this, just respecialize and just change a couple of perks. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff, check my other guides and videos. Maybe you will find some interesting build for you. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, click the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends.